What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Punch, the place where we talk about all those nerdy things that you love to talk about. Thanks so much for joining us. While you're here, make sure you go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as that notification bell, so that you'll be notified whenever a new episode comes out every Wednesday at noon to see what we're talking about that week. Kind of like this week's topic, we're talking about board games. Charlie, we've already talked about board games.
Hey, you can never talk too much about a good thing. In this case, board games, fantastic. And we're going to do it a little differently tonight. So if you were here for our last board game episode, it was a long episode, and we're just talking about some of our favorite games from childhood to adulthood and everything in between. But tonight, it's going to be a little different. For those of you who remember from the last board game episode, we bragged about Brody's board game prowess, his knowledge. That Brody. So tonight we're gonna do a little Brody board game bonanza. We're gonna be talking to Brody about some of his recommendations for the best games to play at a game night with friends. Look, the world is opening back up in some places. People have gotten their vaccines. People we're starting to see friends a little bit here or there.
Sure.
So maybe you're gonna have a game night soon. So what are some great games to play game nights? But some of us are still, in quarantine, lockdown. So we'll talk about some great games to play with your family, some great games to play as just with two people, as a couple.
Yep.
And even for those of you out there who might want a solo game, there are plenty of interesting solo games that you can play as well. So there's lots of choices for us to talk to, lots to get to. And I'm actually really kind of geeking out. I'm excited to get through this. I always learn something from you every time we talk about board games. And so I can't wait to hear what you have to offer tonight.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Brodeman.
So I have always loved board games. For the people that listened to the last episode, I've grown up with board games. I love board games. Really began getting back into board games, kind of the modern board games, about 6 years ago or so, and really, paying attention to these new games that are coming up. Buying a lot of games. I buy a fair amount of games. You can kind of see behind me here, I've got, some of them, but it goes way up there, and then way down there. So,
That's not even all of them.
There's a decent amount of games. I messed up my camera now. Oh, golly.
I remember my first visit to you when you were in Reno and you started collecting board games, and you're like, Charlie, come and look at this closet. And you opened up this little closet, and it was just stuffed with board games. Oh, I haven't played this one yet. And I don't know why I don't know why I'm giving you this voice.
Is that
tonight.
me? That's me.
Oh, it's me, Brody. I got a lot of. I can't do a good Brody anymore. So you know what? We're gonna go back to Gravelly Brody. Okay. Oh, I like board games. So I have all these board games, Charlie. Look at them all in the closet. And there was so many, some of them still in their wrapper and pristine. Oh, I got this one off the internet, and you got the pewter Batman figures, and
yeah,
it was really cool, and it was so neat to see you. And it sounds like I'm making fun of you. I'm not. It was so neat to see you lit up, so excited and so passionate about it, and it got me excited about it. And my board game collection is dwarfed by yours, but certainly I have a lot of board games, and I thoroughly enjoy playing them. So let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with some game night? Let's talk a little game night.
Oh,
all right,
man.
So you and your pals are getting together. What's Brody's game of choice or games of choice?
I love game nights. We have neighbors right across the street that having neighbors right across the street is really nice because, we can put the kids to bed and then they can just walk across the street and come over and play games.
It's much nicer than having neighbors, for instance, who do not live across the street. Neighbors who live all the way out here in California, in Reno. Rub it in, why don't you?
So it's so to have game nights is nice. We really like those.
I'm Brody. I have friends.
Not that man. I got neighbors. I got a pair of neighbors.
Neighbors and friends.
So one thing that we have really enjoyed when people come over, that is a party style social deduction game, and that is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. Now, I've talked with you about this.
Yes.
You called me on a 3-way call with your younger sister at one point, and you said, Brody, she wants to buy a board game for her boyfriend's family. And so
Correct.
after some questioning and what do they like and what do they enjoy playing and what kind of, how do they like, are they loud, are they talkative, are they really serious, talking to them, this is the one that I actually recommended for her to buy. And so this is a social deduction game where if you've ever played Werewolf, it's similar to that. You have a group of people who have secret roles, and then you have one person that is the killer, and you're trying to determine who the killer is. Now, with Werewolf, it's just based on, well, you're the killer. No, well, you're the killer. I'm not the killer. You're the killer. And it can really get on to who is the best talker, who is the best kind of debater. Charlie, you're good at Werewolf, I bet, because you're good at that type of stuff.
This is where my personality, I hate playing social deduction games. I hate them because whenever I play, everyone assumes that I'm lying. So I'm always accused, and no, I can't defend myself. If I say nothing, they're like, "Oh, look, he's got nothing to say." And if I'm like, "Look, I'm not the killer. Let's use logic and reason as to why I'm not the look at this person's behavior. Look at and I, every time without fail. So either I am the killer and they just guess right away, or I'm just voted out. Look, you have to have the right group of people for social deduction games. They are not for everybody, and they're certainly not for every group of friends. Some people who are maybe a little bit more comfortable in their skin, extroverted people.
Sure.
I've had some great game nights with social deduction games, and we've had some really terrible moments in some some social deduction games.
And that can happen, but that's one of the great things about deception murder in Hong Kong, is that because everybody has 4 pieces of evidence and 4 murder weapons sitting in front of them.
Right.
And then there's the forensic scientist who knows who the murderer is, who knows what the evidence is, and knows what the weapon is. And they, without talking, point to different clues that they have available. The people need to figure out who the person is, what the evidence is, and what the murder weapon is based on the clues given. And so if I am the forensic scientist and I say, the murder happened in the daytime, I'm trying to think of what the other cards are.
With the wrench in the hall.
But, and it was a tidy scene and the body was cold. And then all you have are like thumbtacks and a baseball bat and, a bowling ball, in front of you. Then people can't accuse you because the things that you have in front of you don't make sense for what the forensic scientist is telling you, the clues that are there. And so that's what's really nice about deception, is it gets away from you're the loudest person, you're the most influential, you have to go off of some of the facts. And we've had really nice success with people coming over who aren't loud and they don't talk a whole lot. But because of that, because the game, with the way that the game is structured, where each person has 30 seconds to give their case without anybody else interrupting, you do see that some of those people that don't normally speak up a lot, they're bringing up good points of, well, that person has, a rope, or just something that fits what the clues are given by the forensic scientist. And so that has been a great one for us.
I'm going to blow your mind. I've actually played that game before, and we did enjoy it. It was fun.
It's a good one.
We only had one. We had one person who was the killer, and it was like their 30 seconds are like, no, I didn't do it. And there was like, okay, yeah, they definitely did it.
Oh, man.
But it was a fun game. Look, so social deduction games is one big broad category of like a game night.
Yes.
Give the people another broad category for party games.
Okay, so another really good one. You could go a couple ways. Okay, if you have a big group of people, something like Telestrations. Okay. Telephone Pictionary. You and I used to play this by getting pens and paper and just cutting up pieces of paper and playing this and passing it around. And we went through so much paper.
Who knows? We could have made so much money.
Oh my goodness.
All we had to do was put it on a whiteboard and call it, give it a name.
But Telestrations, you have these little whiteboards on a flip board. And so one person, they write a clue, you pass it, the people have to draw that clue, you pass it to the next person, they have to look at that clue at the drawing and guess what it is and write it down. And so you're alternating between writing what you think it is and drawing what the clue is. And then by the time it gets all the way around, you see what it's become. And it's hilarious. Apparently, I've got it right down there. It's great. I have the big, huge 12-person one because we played with that many people. And it's hilarious. And people are crying because they're laughing so hard. There is a point structure that you can use. I've never played with points. Nobody cares about the points. You know, I don't even know how it works. You just play until you get bored of it. You know, you play until you kind of feel that like, okay, we're going to go one more time and then we're going to, you know, cut it and move on to something else. And it's great. It's great. It's so funny. You can play it with all different ages. I played it with my kids. I've played it with grandparents, you know, everything. Great party game. Easy to bring out. Easy to explain. Goes pretty quickly. You know, when you have something like 12 people and everybody is going through every single sheet, yes, you know, that can take a while, but you're laughing the whole time and it's funny. And so that's a great party style game. Now, if you have a couple people, you got 4 people over, you know, you have like 4 or 5 people, something like Pandemic is great. You know, you have a map, you have objectives, it's a cooperative game. I really enjoy cooperative games because they're fun, because you're working together. Yeah. You can have people over who don't normally play a lot of games other than kind of the mass market games. But you can have them over, be on your team, and as long as you're not alpha gaming and saying, well, it's your turn, so let's do this on your turn, and then they just sit there and say, okay, you know, bring them in, you know, let them make decisions, give help when needed, give advice when you feel like it's necessary, you know, and that's something that Pandemic can do, is you let them make the choices, but you're all working together to rid the world of these 4 diseases, to cure these 4 diseases that are spreading all over, and it's tense and it's hard and you lose, but it's so much fun.
Look, first of all, Telestrations is a great example of a game that we'll probably that we highlight that will fit into multiple categories. Because my kids love that game and it's a lot of fun. It's a very different experience in like a group of adults than it is with kids, and you get some different words and different styles. And I think the more
are you going off the card, or are you going off? Okay, just make up your own word.
Don't go off the card. Always make up your own. So and then you hit on the co-op games. I think co-op games are a lot of fun, and we'll probably talk about some more when we talk about just like gaming in a couple with just 2 of you. Sometimes it's really fun to just play a co-op game where you don't have to worry about, you know, getting the competitive juices flowing, just working with your partner and just having fun that way. There are a lot of really good, you know, 4-player, 5-player, 6-player co-op games that you can invest into. Those tend to be more explanation. And so like if you're having a game night, like that's a very different kind of game night than like a plug and play party game.
Sure.
Something like Code Names or something like Telestrations, where really you can just walk in the door and have like a minimal, very quick explanation, and then off you go. There's another you know, popular style of you know, gaming, like the Apples to Apples, Cards Against Humanity, you know, Cyanide and Happiness has, you know, there's a lot of these like card-based ones. Brody, does it have a special name? Like that style of game? I
don't know if it has a special name. I don't think that it does. It's just kind of, you know, I don't know if Apples to Apples was the first one to do that, you know, where one person plays a card and everybody else plays a card that's associated with that. But there's so many games that are like that. I've got Apples to Apples here. I've got some others. My favorite of those is probably Dixit. right there. And it's all
So what was that called again?
Dixit. Dixit. Dixit.
Okay. All right.
You're playing it. There are these drawings that are really kind of abstract, and they have multiple meanings. And so then the person who's playing can play, or they give one clue, and so it can be multiple words. It can be one word. They're just giving a clue, like a movie title or something like that.
Right.
And people are playing what they think most fits that description. And so it's the same idea, but you're using pictures, and they're beautiful pictures, and so that's really fun.
Yeah, we Cards Against Humanity came out. That was like a big thing. We played that a lot in some of our gatherings. We found that my wife and I would take blue painter's tape, and we would just cover over some of like the, like Rush Limbaugh or some of these other, like, they had these famous people that they were like, basically you knew that no matter when you played them, you were gonna lose the round. Like there was no chance that these cards, and we would write in like personal stuff like Brody's beard or more offensive things or whatever, and it was a lot of fun because we could personalize it. So if we were going over to a friend's house for a birthday, we create like 30 unique cards about that particular friend, and then it was really funny, and then people would play that. So I do, there are ways that you can be creative even with your own games,
sure.
Because once you've played through a few of these, there's a tendency sometimes for them to get a little stale. So don't be afraid to go mess around and kind of create some of your own rules or your own ways that you play, or in this case even some of your own cards. I think it does kind of help give longevity to some of these games.
For sure.
Are there any other styles of like party games you want to highlight, or any other games in particular?
Party games.
Give some like rapid fire, no explanation. Just toss some titles out.
Boulder Dash is just classic, still good, holds up.
Give us some. Funny. Come on, give us some we haven't heard of. Come on,
Wits and Wagers
over here.
Wits and Wagers. Okay.
All right, there we go.
Trivia, but you don't have to know the answer. You just have to think you know who might know the answer. Okay.
Oh, what a twist!
It's a good one.
All right.
Cash and Guns. Cash and Guns is a fantastic party game. Aiming foam guns at other people while you're in, essentially, everybody's battling over the loot from a bank heist. Super fun. You get to point a gun at people's faces. Man, it's good times.
That's great. All right, now, Brody, when we talk about finding some of these games, do you want to talk a little bit about Kickstarter now? I know you have some games you're supporting Kickstarter. Are they party games, or are they more like co-op games? Like, where do they fit in? I should have asked you before we started.
So normally with Kickstarter, they are larger games. Some of my bigger games are the Kickstarter type stuff. Not normally party games.
Right.
Party games normally, Target or Amazon. That's where I get kind of my party games. It's the Kickstarter is good for, you can see right there. Okay. All of that is one Kickstarter. Okay. Same thing with all my Batman Gotham City Chronicles. You get like 6 boxes for one game type deal. You can get some
Gotcha.
Smaller ones. I actually have one that is. I have a couple that are smaller games that are good. I have one called Canvas, where you have transparent cards that you're layering on top of each other, and that's a nice little game off Kickstarter. And so Kickstarter is interesting because
do you just go on like the website and search for board games, or
sometimes
how do you find these?
Yeah, sometimes. Like this one right here, that's all Marvel. So I see something Marvel, I see something like Batman, and I'm like, okay, I'm into that. Something like Canvas, for me, I don't just back things. Typically, there's been some things where I'm like, oh, that just looks like fun, I'll back that. But Kickstarter is tough because what you're backing hasn't always been made before. And so you're taking a chance. You are buying a product that won't arrive for a year, that you've never played before, that nobody's ever played before. Maybe they've sent out pre-production copies or play tested it. Well, yes, they have played. Hopefully, they've play tested it. The play tested it. If they've never play tested it, don't sell it on Kickstarter.
We've never played it. We don't even have rules, but we'll send it you. Send it out.
But and so like they've had pre-production copies out there, and so you can sometimes get reviews on that. But for final product, what are the components like? How does this work? And so you're really taking a chance. It's not like Amazon where I can order a game and a day or two later it just shows up. If I order something I'm backing a project right now on Kickstarter that won't show up until next year. And so it's like, and I'm probably going to forget about it until I get an email saying, hey, the Kickstarter shipped, So
hopefully.
Yeah. It's fun because a lot of this stuff, like this Marvel one right here, some of it they're selling in stores. They're selling like the base copy and they're selling maybe an expansion. But a lot of these boxes are not going to be anywhere in retail because they simply can't. Walmart is not going to want to put up all the space for 6, 7, 8 expansions all at one time. That's shelf space that gets paid for, and you're just not going to do that. And so they go through Kickstarter to do that. And so that's where Kickstarter is fun, is because you can load up and I can get a game that's got 100 minis in it, where that's not something that I could typically get from Target or Walmart or, depending, maybe Amazon. So,
sure. All right. Well, all right. That's good knowledge and I think good information. And if you guys have more questions specifically about the Kickstarter stuff or any of these games, make sure you let us know in the comments, and we'll get back to you with it, whatever answers we can give. I just want to toss out a couple party games that I enjoy, and then we'll move on to the next category.
Totally.
But if you ever played Hoopla, the Cranium Hoopla, I think that's a lot of fun in a group. And we do if you got some adults around drinking some adult beverages, we do a modified version of Jenga. So my wife and I wrote down on every tile some kind of punishment or some kind of mini game that has to take place. So whenever you draw one, you can't see what you're drawing. Then you have to, sometimes it's a drinking related punishment, and sometimes it's a sharing. Sometimes it's like a fun mini game. You can put whatever you want. Know your group.
It's like a truth or dare Jenga.
You could absolutely do some truth or dare questions on there if you have the right type of party for that. You can just simply make, people with blue eyes drink, brown eyes drink, girls and boys drink. You can do, we would play the movie game, and we had some other like mini games that we had set up. Like you'd have to get up and do a couple of different like activities, like one-on-one or in a small competitive group, just to kind of keep the, so it's fun. We had a bomb tile. So you draw it in your bomb, you have to draw 3 more within 60 seconds, or blow, things like that, or moose, and everyone's got to do that. And the loser has to draw an extra Jenga tile. So it's like silly things. It's fun. And you can just buy a Jenga set and then just personalize it by writing your own in there. And we've had a lot of that's one of our go-tos for adult games, just because it's a lot of fun, and we were able to tailor it specifically to the group of friends that were with that particular night. So let's talk about families. All right, so you're a family man, Brody. I'm also a man that has a family. We are people who play games with kids. We talked about Telestrations. What are some other games that you enjoy playing with the entire family?
So we've done a lot with the kids. We have done kind of the junior editions. So we have like Ticket to Ride, First Journeys. We have what's the other? I was just thinking of it. I don't remember now. So we have that type of stuff, but then we also enjoy playing the full ones. We've played both Ticket to Ride First Journeys, and we've played the normal Ticket to Ride. Okay, I think that nice. Ticket to Ride is easy enough that like kids, as long as they're, I've got my 9-year-old can easily pick up Ticket to Ride. My 4-year-old probably not so much. But typically my 4-year-old is on like one of either me or my wife's team anyways on most games. You know, she's not quite there for grasping like mechanics of a game. So Ticket to Ride is great. Any version is great. What else do we have? I have played something like Camel Up is like a really fun racing game where there's a lot of luck involved. Okay, you can bid. You're bidding on camels to win a race, and so you can be bidding on a camel, and your kid can bid on a camel, and the kid can pass you right up, and it's fun and it's exciting. There's camels going the opposite way that may drag you backwards, and so it can be all over the place. And so stuff like that is a lot of fun because it's not just based on I know how this works and you don't, you know? And so, because then you get into situations where it's like, okay, I know if I make this decision, I'm going to instantly win this game, or I would destroy them if I did this. And so then I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play a little bit easier. I don't want to let my kids win, but I also don't want to like destroy them. You know, and so sometimes it's finding that balance. And so for something like Camel Up, it's great because I can just try to win and have fun with it, and they can destroy me even when I'm trying, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bid on that camel and it's gonna win, and then it doesn't, and it comes in last and I get 0 points. So something like that is a lot of fun. And then there's things like we've played Pandemic with them. We've played something similar that's called Ghost Fight and Treasure Hunters, which your kids that are going around a mansion having to pick up jewels, and ghosts are popping up, and so you're working together. Some ghosts you have to have 2 people in a room to defeat them, and so you know, if I'm going into a room and then all of a sudden one of the big ghosts show up, I'm like, kids, come help me. And so then they feel like they're coming in there and they're helping dad, you know, because I have to have their help to get out of this situation and defeat this so that we can all win together. And so that's a really fun one.
That's cool.
And then even the Marvel United that I was just talking about, that's a fun one where we're working cooperatively, and even you're putting down cards. And so if I put down a card, I get the powers that are on the card and the powers and the icons and powers that were on the previous card. And so you are really working together. And so whoever comes after me is going to put down their card. So then they're using what is on my card and on their card. And we're all working together to defeat the henchmen and the villains. And it's Marvel. And so and because it's got all these boxes, if one of my kids loves Hawkeye and one of my kids loves Thor, and I want to play as somebody totally random, you know, Vision, you know, we can do that, and then we can all work together. And so that's been a lot of fun as well. And that's one of the Kickstarters I'm backing right now is the Marvel United X-Men, so that I can get all the X-Men characters as well.
You're so cute.
I'm super excited for it.
You're going full in with your kids. That's great. We do a lot of like more card game based action over at our house. We love the Uno. There's a lot of different kinds of Uno we've found, discovered, and enjoy. We love taco goat cheese pizza. It's like great.
I don't know.
We absolutely love it. It's a great card game. It's got it's an element of speed, so and matching. So you kind of flip over. You go taco, goat, cheese, pizza, and you're flipping the cards. Every now and then there's something where like a groundhog, and you have to like tap the ground really fast and then smack the pile.
Okay.
Last person whose hand is on the pile has to take the cards. There's like narwhal, and you have to make a narwhal. And there's gorilla. And then there's like if I say taco and I play a taco, everyone slaps. If I, so there's like certain rules everyone has to slap. It's a lot of fun, and it's a game that you can play with kids. You don't have to take it too easy on them. They can. Nice. It's really hilarious game, and people trying to do narwhal, and smacking themselves in the face or doing the wrong animal motion. It's it is really hilarious to watch people who've never played it before play it for the first time. It's really fun.
I've never played that.
And
We're gonna have to
Avocado
play that
Smash,
next time.
Same kind of game. Oh, it's really fun. Yeah, like my kids absolutely love it, and we do too. And you can play that with adults as well. Same with Avocado Smash.
I have played Avocado Smash.
Similar deal. Poetry for Neanderthals is a lot of fun. It's from the maker of Exploding Kittens, which is also a fun game. But you have you have an inflatable caveman mallet, and then it's like taboo. So you're giving clues to someone else. You're trying to get them to guess this word. There's certain things you can't say, and everything you say has to be one syllable. So if you mess up and you say two syllables, or you say one of the words in the cards, someone gets to whack you on the head with this like caveman mallet.
Jeez.
So it's really fun. The kids love it. So they get to hit daddy and they get wail on me if I get one wrong. And,
oh man.
So it's a lot of fun. Superhero Fight is a fun like little deck builder game that we do. So we have a lot of like these little card games. It's fun outside of like Life and some of these more traditional Shoots and Ladders. We play things like that.
Shoots and Ladders is like
those
the
are
worst.
some fun ones.
Shoots and Ladders.
You ever played Super Fight with the kid? You ever played that at all?
Uh-uh.
Oh. Well, look it up. It's fun. It's you get to like build your like 1,000 octopuses with octopi. Octopods.
No, it's octopi.
Yeah. Octopi, all right. With laser beam eyes and an army of Bruce Campbells. And that's my superhero. You kind of like build like with cards like these ridiculous superheroes, and then there's like random cards that get drawn and put on top, and then you just argue about like why your superhero would win, and there's like a voting, and it's pretty fun.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, you don't like is Shoots and Ladders your least favorite board game? If I said, okay, Brody, your punishment is that you have to play the worst game. Like, is it Shoots and Ladders? Or
it might be. Yeah. It's just
I have Marvel Shoots and Ladders. Does that change your mind? Well, you could be Hawkeye.
No, we have Marvel Shoots and Ladders too, and I hate playing it.
Oh, all right.
Because you can get all the way to the top, and then that game takes so long. Charlie.
That's the idea, Brody. Of course, you get to the top and then you fall down the chute.
And then you go down the chute and you're like, oh, I just need this game to end.
That's the game.
And then you keep falling down the chute and you're just like, I need it to end. It just needs to end. It's going on forever. I'm so over this. Yeah. Shoots and Ladders might be my least favorite.
All right. You heard it here. Don't buy into the hype. Ignore Shoots and Ladders. 80 years later, that game still sucks. All right. So on we go. Let's talk couples. You're alone with your wife. You go to the board game shelf. What are you pulling out for a little couples game night?
So for couples, so me and my wife, we do the escape room games are a lot of fun. So
very fun.
So I know that we played that, the four of us at one point.
Yeah.
There's
better in a couple though, I think.
There's the exit games, which are more of a one and done. So you're opening it up, you're figuring out what's going on, and throughout the escape room, you're cutting things up, you're ripping things up, you're folding things, you're tearing pages out of the rule book. Okay, once you're done with it, like you just throw it away. It's just trash. And so that's fun in its own way. There's a lot of them out there. I think I normally pay between $10 and $15 for those. Yeah, Unlock is kind of the next one. That's more of a deck of cards where you're looking through a deck, and so then you're having to find two cards that kind of work together to then you have an app. So then what you have two cards and you get a code between the two cards, and you put that code into the app and it tells you whether that's correct or not. Those ones you can use multiple times. You can use them and then give them to somebody else. Those are a lot of fun as well. I actually have where is it? It's right there. Star Wars Unlock. Okay, haven't played it yet, but I'm super excited to. So those are a lot of fun. The escape room.
Someday when you die, I'm going to put that on your tombstone.
What?
I haven't played it yet, but I'm super excited to.
It's true. It is like a catchphrase. The other thing that's right there, Chronicles of Crime. We played Chronicles of Crime with you when you guys came up last, right?
Yeah, you have like this cell phone, right? And you kind of survey the room.
So you're solving a mystery and you have a cell phone and there's all these cards that have QR codes, and there's people that you talk to and you interrogate. There's evidence that you find. You might go to a location and you look, and you go like that, and you're looking all throughout a room, and so you're looking for different things. That is really fun. Those scenarios are based out of an app, and so you can buy the game and then you can buy additional scenarios. That's another one that just came out of Kickstarter. Is they got like a 1400, a 1900, and then a 2400, and so you can kind of work through stuff in the past. You can eventually work through stuff in the future. Those parts of the app aren't out yet.
Right.
But those have been a lot of fun for Amy and I to just sit there and we have a phone, and we just go through and we pass the phone back and forth, and have we talked to that person? Let's go back to that place and talk to that person. That person talked about that person, so let's ask that person about that person. And so it's a lot of this solving the mystery, and then at the end, you get to see what score you got and if you solved it all correctly. But those ones have been a lot of fun for us as far as just couples. Also, for just a couple, you can't really see it. It's way up there. Fog of Love. It's a good one. It's a little.
It's so funny. I'm so glad that you said that. I just read an article that said Fog of Love made me and my husband get a divorce.
Oh no!
I was looking at some co-op games for me and Amy, and I was just reading this article. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a funny.
Oh man!
She's like, we finished playing this game, and I looked at my husband and said, we need to break up.
Oh.
All right.
Well, and so with Fog of Love, you play the game as two people who are going through a relationship. And so you're not supposed to play as yourself. You're supposed to, in a way, like role play as these two people. So you're making decisions based on your character. And so, yes, if one person is playing as a character and another person is playing as themselves, and you look at it and you're like, that's a horrible decision, then yeah, it could maybe cause some tension. But sure. If you just play it
board game can't?
As it's supposed to be played, as, hey, I am going to be this person and I'm going to answer this way. And if the relationship within this game doesn't work, then that's fine. We can end, we'll finish the game and break up, and not break up in real life. Right. It's a game. People like play the game. So, but that one's been a lot of fun too.
Hey, Monopoly's called cause mini divorce. Why not Fog of Love?
I played Monopoly on my honeymoon.
Oh gosh, you're such a weird person. Your poor wife.
How about you? What do you and Amy play?
Well, we like the exit games. We like Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert, and those work in larger groups as well. We'll when we play just the two of us, oftentimes we'll just each take two characters, and then you play. It's a co-op game.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of fun. Codenames Duet.
Yes,
it's pretty fun. There's like a little co-op game. There's a lot of different code names. We like all the code names. I guess that kind of makes us pretty basic, but.
Codenames Duet is great.
Hey.
Codenames Duet is great. Get them both. Get the normal one.
Fog of Love just to
get normal Codenames and Codenames Duet. They're both great.
They're both great. And I forgot to mention Decrypto earlier. I really love Decrypto, and I'm just throwing that out into the universe because no one will ever play with me. You need like 4 people, at least. It's better with like 6. This really isn't the party game, but no one will play with me, Brody. I want to play Decrypto.
Next time we're down.
Maybe you guys will play with us.
Yeah, next time we're down, we'll play it.
It's kind of like a fancier code names is how I'll say it, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, those are some of our favorites. Like the Pandemic's a lot of fun, and you can play that with 2 people.
Yeah.
As well. There's certain co-op games that are fun. I'm gonna teach you the word game, Brody. The word game. This works in any category. You can play it as in a party. You can play it with your family, and you can play it one-on-one. I've played it in all three scenarios. It does not work, however, as a solo game. So, our fourth category.
Okay.
But I'm going to give credit to Andrew Moss as the inventor of this game. All right, I want you to think of a word, any word. Let's make it a noun. Okay, you got one?
Yes. Wait, a noun?
Ready? A noun. A person, a place, or a thing.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Beard. You're supposed to say your word out loud.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't say it.
Die.
3, 2. Okay. Beard, die. All right. So now you and I have to think of a word. We're eventually trying to get to the same word. Okay. So beard and die. All right. You ready? You got a word?
What? Huh?
So you said die. I said beard.
Okay.
Now we're trying to think of. Now you got to think of another word, and we're trying to think of the same word.
Okay.
Beard and die.
Okay.
You got it. You got a word?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Brown.
Meeple.
You're supposed to say it at the same time as me. Do you say meatball?
I said meeple.
What?
Meeple. We're talking about board games. I'm talking about a meeple.
What's a meatball?
You got to play more board games, Charlie. It's the little.
a meeple?
It's the little.
What does that have to do with board and die or beards and dies?
Because it's a board game thing.
A beard?
No.
All right. You know what?
Meeple.
You know what? You do not understand the integrity of the word game. I'm not going to play it with you anymore. For you people out there, it's a very simple game. Even though Brody failed, you just you keep saying words with whoever, and you can in a big group. You can just have people shouting out, "Oh, I got a word going," and you're trying to eventually whittle it down so that you guys have the same word, and then the round ends.
Okay, maybe at the end of this episode, we'll try again. That way we can get through the episode.
I'm going to bring Andrew on the podcast just to show it.
We'll
All right,
get through the
let's
episode.
talk about some solo games because since we're going to need to be doing some solo podcasts after this, what are some of your favorite all by myself board games?
Ooh, okay. So, I don't do a whole lot of solo board gaming.
Yeah, we know you have a lot of friends. We get it.
No, I just have kids who every time I try to solo board game are like, "Can we play? What are you doing? Can I see that? Can I look through that deck of cards? Can I hold the figure? Can I die? Can I roll the die for you?" And then I'm like, "I'm putting it away. I can't do this right now." But one of them is like the big ol'. Although mine isn't the big ol'. Where's it going? That way. Right there. Gloomhaven.
I can't tell where you're pointing.
I'm pointing at Gloomhaven, okay? Okay.
Worth it.
This is actually a really good shelf, so I'm going to keep my stuff right there. Or my camera right there. Okay, Gloomhaven, okay, is like the number one board game. I'm going to move my chair a little bit so you can still see me. The number one board game on Board Game Geek. Okay, if you're not familiar with Board Game Geek, it's like the board game database website. You go there, you can add all of your board games that you own to your collection. You can go through forums. The designers of games go on the forums and can answer questions. You can rate things, all this stuff. Gloomhaven has been like the number one for a couple years now. It's huge. This game that I have, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, is like a more compressed version of the game. It's a simpler to set up, simpler to play. I've enjoyed that. I actually bought it in order to play solo. That's the reason that I bought it.
Gotcha.
So that you go through. It's a campaign. So you're going through and you're, you have your character, and so you're going through this story as this character. Another one that you can do solo are both. I'm going to point to both of them. So we've got Lord of the Rings: Journeys Through Middle-earth and Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, which is what you've got behind you. Both of these games are fantastic. I have enjoyed playing them with people and solo. And because they're both an app-driven game, they're both like really similar in how they play. Okay, if you like Lord of the Rings,
Right.
try the Lord of the Rings. If you like more Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft, go with Mansions of Madness. Lord of the Rings a bit more campaign, Mansions of Madness a bit more like scenario based. But both of them, you have this app, and so it can drive you through. So you can go through solo, and so you can do all this stuff just with you and a tablet or a phone or whatever you have that's driving you through the challenges and the obstacles and the building of the maps and all this stuff. And it's super simple to do. Those are both really fun. Really fun. And so those are probably... I tried to get into Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is pretty similar to these other ones, but wasn't developed... was developed before the app integration. And so they came out with an app after the fact. And it's a little more clunky, but it is Star Wars. So going through that, I've played that solo. Going through that with the app is still fun because it's still Star Wars. Charlie, have you done any? Huh?
Oh, I was going to throw a couple of game titles at you, according to Board Game Geek's top 10 solo board games, and just see if you've played any.
Okay.
Spirit Island.
Nope, haven't played it.
That's number 1.
Haven't played it.
Mage Knight.
Nope.
Mage Knight. Terraforming Mars.
Haven't played it, but want to play it.
Marvel Champions, the card game.
Oh, it's on my Amazon wish list, but I got really into Marvel Dice Masters, which cannot be done solo at all. And that's like the collectible card a bit, and so I have a lot of dice. Have thought about getting into Champions, but then I spent a lot of money on Marvel United, which can also be played solo. And so I don't know if I want to really jump into Marvel Champions because it's like $50 for the base, and then there's just expansions for forever.
Well, if you've been enjoying the content of Talk Talk Punch, Brody will post a link to his Amazon wish list below. Feel free to pick it up for him and send it his way. I'm sure he'd be appreciative. What about Aeon's End?
No, I haven't played it.
You've played Arkham Horror. I've played Arkham Horror. The card game? You played that.
I haven't played Arkham Horror, the card game.
Okay. What about Gloomhaven? We talked about.
That's number 7. Gloomhaven is up there.
Scythe?
Haven't played Scythe, no. I looked at it. I was at a board game cafe, and I looked at it, and I said, do I want to try that? And then I went to something else, because it's a bigger game.
Yeah, we talked about the Lord of the Rings one, and the last, number 10, is Too Many Bones. Too Many Bones, Brody.
Nope, haven't played that.
Sounds like a great game. To answer your initial question, I have not gotten into solo gaming, and I don't really have a good reason for that, other than maybe just my kind of ignorance towards some of the availability of some of these great sounding games. As I was just kind of reading through things for tonight, I just exploring like some game titles that were on some of these lists and reading about them. Like I was getting excited. I'm like, I would love to try some of these. I look, as you know, if you've been a faithful watcher of this particular cast that we do, I have played many a solo board game, but just in the sad ways where I'm playing games that weren't meant to be played by myself. So playing a game that's actually designed to be played alone, I think would be really, really fun. I played a lot of solitaire with cards, I guess, back in the day. But I like some of these sound really great. And you're right. Some of it, like the big setup games, are always a little bit tricky with kids.
Sure,
but there was a few on the list where I'm like, oh man, all right, I might be putting some things down for on my wish list for my birthday or something. Picking up a few games coming up.
There you go.
I'm excited. Bro, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to kind of circle back to? Any games that you want to re-highlight or get into? Or do we kind of cover everything?
Family games. I just looked over and I remembered. Stuffed Fables is an amazing family game. Okay? Campaign game. They call it actually a storybook game. But it's a campaign where you are the stuffed animals helping out a little girl. And so you have a book and the book is actually the board. And so as you turn the page, you have a board
Okay.
on one side, and then you have all the directions and the story and the events on another side. And so we play that with the kids, where the kids we let them kind of make the decisions. And then I normally don't even play because I believe it's only a 4-player game. And so I just act as
Gotcha.
the person that's reading out stuff, reading out the events, kind of helping them, giving them advice. And then after each game, you can go to the back. It's got like talking points where it's like, oh, how did you feel about this? Were you scared when this thing popped up? Excellent, excellent game. Love it. Super good.
Nice.
What else? Yeah, I don't know. We didn't even talk about legacy games. Have you done any legacy games, Charlie?
We didn't. I have played, visited my friend's house and joined into their already started legacy game and done a couple, like Pandemic Legacy specifically.
Sure.
And we did a couple of rounds of that together, and then Pandemics really hit, and we stopped. So
Gotcha.
but that was a lot of fun. It's always a surreal feeling, like watching people or doing it yourself, like tearing these really nice like looking cards and card stocks. Super weird.
It is.
But
it
yeah,
is
that
weird.
was fun. I like the
weird.
legacy game a lot.
Yeah, finding, it's kind of, I would say something like Pandemic Legacy kind of falls in between the party and like couple conversation, where it's like find another couple and like stick with them for like 12 to 24 games of this. But you do that, and it's such a fun experience, and it's stressful, but that like whatever you do, you're going to be moving on through this campaign of sorts, and the game's going to keep changing. You might rip up cards, you're going to open boxes and get new components. The rules are going to change. You're going to put stickers in the rule book. You're going to put stickers on the board. Man, legacy games are amazing. So recommend those as well. But yeah,
if you're looking for games to play in a car, the word game, also the movie game. Brody, you want to talk about the movie game real quick?
So you're
do you
talking about
remember how to play the movie game?
The game that we used to play a lot, right?
Oh yeah. So a long road trip. So someone would say a movie like Ocean's 11, and then Brody would have to name an actor who appeared in Ocean's 11.
Brad Pitt.
You were on it tonight with these games.
George Clooney.
And then just one is fine. So Brad Pitt, and then I would have to name a Brad Pitt film, other than Ocean's 11, no repeats, and it would just kind of go back and forth or around in a car. It can be pretty fun if especially if you're all kind of a similar age and have seen a certain similar amounts of movies. It's always got a little tricky. My friend Tudong and I could play this game back and forth for like 2 hours, and then my wife would jump in with us at like a Denny's or something, and she would always throw out some Netflix, like straight to streaming Netflix movie that happened to have like John Cusack in it, or some, some, and it was just straight to Netflix, and Jason Bateman was in this, and she knew the title and she'd seen the movie, but there was nobody else in it, and no one knows. It would always stall out the game. It was hilarious. It was great. So it can be pretty fun if you like movies. Word game can be pretty fun if you're in the right crowd as well, in a car. Brody, I love talking board games. We should definitely do this again. We'll highlight some more. If you want to put links below,
obviously,
your Kickstarter games.
Obviously,
put some links below, bro. Put your Amazon wish listing below. Put your Kickstarter links below. Get the people excited. In 2023, Brody and I will be inventing a board game that will be coming onto the market. We will definitely be advertising that. It's going to be Talk Punch the game. Oof. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know.
So you have that to look forward to.
I can't promise that.
You got it. You talk, and then someone else talks, and then there's a punch. And so we'll talk about the details.
There you go.
It'll be good.
That'll work. That'll work.
Well, thank you for coming on this journey with us. Please let us know below in the comments if you have some favorite games that fit into any of these categories. Things that you like to do at parties with your friends, game nights, family. So any great solo game recommendations. We're always looking for new games to play. So let us know, and let us know if you would you guys want to watch me and Brody play a game?
Ooh.
Like if we played a game, is that something that you would have any interest out there? If we would do it up fun, we do it up right, we do it up in a very entertaining way. But does that sound appealing to you at all? Let us know, because we've talked about that idea before in the past.
We have talked about it.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
We have talked about it.
All right, bro. Well, thank you. Another fun time. Check out our other videos below. Send Brody something on Amazon, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.